Right. Hello everyone again. This is Bob with Bob's Leather Works in Raleigh, North Carolina. On this video, I'm going to do a overview on a rig I just got done making for a gentleman in Kansas, of all places. And this is, as some of you already know, a Mexican double loop rig. Now, this gentleman wanted 30 caliber bullet loops, and he is a size 39. So therein lies the rub. Therefore, what happened with this rig, or how it turned out, not necessarily what happened, but how it turned out, was that he's got his 30 caliber bullet loops, and there's all 30 of them, and they come through the underside of the holster, wind up right here, and then from this point, this center hole of the 7, back to the tip of the buckle as it ends right at the end of it is 39. That's his gun belt size. So I have photographed it. Eventually it will wind up on my website, but I'm making this clip to show him and you how it turned out. Now, this is a cowboy rig with an over-the-belt Mexican double loop rig, and it has a Ranger style closure, meaning again that the buckle setup, the underpiece, this piece goes through here underneath, and of course this one goes through, and I'm not going to buckle it because I don't want to make any marks on here. A couple of things to tell you about how I make rigs again. This is suede lined, as is cowboy rig. It's one of its features. Okay, this is 2 layers of leather plus the suede for a total of 3. The belt winds up being about 1/4 of an inch thick, as you can see. All the rigs I make will have initials on them, your initials right there, and my stamp, okay, on the holster and on the buckle end of the rig. There are his initials, in this case BP. I use Chicago screws when I put on buckles, so that if you ever do change your buckle, it'll add about 2 inches in length if you use a trophy buckle, like a rodeo buckle that you won bucking horses or riding bulls. Now, this particular rig, I antiqued it, partly because it's a Mexican double loop rig. It is finished with shoe polish. I used Kiwi neutral shoe polish after I dyed this with a mix of 2 browns, 1 saddle tan and a light brown. Comes up like this, finished with water, and then finished with neutral shoe polish, Kiwi neutral shoe polish, buffed up with a damp rag, and it gives it this mellow gloss. I got a lot of light on here this time, so I'm getting some reflections. This is a pattern that I made just for this gentleman, which I will be using in the future. And this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to show this rig off, because this pattern came out really nice for this 4 5/8 inch Uberti Peacemaker clone, which is my gun. It's right up here to the top. You've got a Latigo hammer thong on here, which has a tab on it of 2 lengths of the Latigo up off the hammer, and then you pull it through here when you put it back on to tighten it. It comes through a single hole punched right here, and down it comes. Now, you will notice that because he's got his 30 bullet loops, okay, with the rounds in them, and these are dummy rounds that I get from Western Stage Pops in Las Vegas. The primers have been punched out on them. I ran them through a gun. When you buy these in a 100 lot, you'll get a dummy primer that looks real. And if you want to make sure that people don't think you have live rounds in your gun belt, or that you in fact want to distinguish them from live rounds, because it says Winchester 45 Colt on them. This is real brass, real lead, but I ran them through a gun and I punched the primers down. His bullets come right through the holster. Right there, just like that. And I like this video angle, which I'm going to use to show off any future rigs I decide I want to make videos with. This rig also happens to look very much like the one that Kevin Costner was wearing using in Open Range. And if you look at Open Range next time you watch the movie, or if you already have it, go back and for a couple of moments here and there, you will see a rivet right at the end of the laced through bullet loops. His bullet loops were not sewn onto his rig. They were punched through with a 3/4 inch punch on the front layer, of course, of leather. And there's a rivet holding it in place right there. Now I used 2 long lengths of material, leather, so right at 15 there's a center one right here, which you may or may not be able to see. There it is right there. And then down here there's the other rivet finishing this up. Then you put the second layer of leather on the back, and then you put on the suede. So all in all, it winds up smoothing out again. And the suede, of course, it looks great, but its function is to grab onto your pants and prevent the rig from sliding around on you. This is a heavy rig, okay? And if you were a much bigger man than this gentleman is, and you were a 40, I don't know, 45 or something like that, and you had a 49-inch long gun belt, then your holster would wind up here and your bullet loops would start here, and they would not be running through here. But this was fairly common in the Old West. You got as many bullets on there as you could, and then your holster went right up over the top of it, and they were underneath here. And all you've got to do is slide the holster to get to your bullets. This will pull out. It's going to be a fight. And there is no reason really to take it apart unless you really want to yank it to clean in through here and re-wax it. You never want to put saddle soap on a rig like this unless it's absolutely filthy. But saddle soap will wash away everything, and you don't want to wash away everything. Just like a gun, you don't want to refinish an old gun unless you absolutely have to. It takes away value and durability in this case. So there it is, a Mexican double loop cowboy rig that you can get from me. Okay, and this is shoulder leather too, and it's real soft coming across the belt. And hopefully this is going to fit this gentleman perfectly. And the fact that the bullets come through here, got out of the frame, means that the gun will kick out a little bit, make it easier to withdraw. And there's a certain amount of retention on here that will happen when it's new, but it's going to come out pretty quick and easy without much of a fight. There it is. Closed-toed Mexican double loop rig, very much like the one that Costner was wearing, using in Open Range. So that's it. Hopefully this is a nice quick overview of another rig that you can get from Bob's Leatherworks in Raleigh, North Carolina. All of my information will be on the titles on the clip when I post it up on YouTube. Thanks for watching and have a great day.